I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign.
I wanna be the greatest. Everybody on the fake shit. I look around and feel like everybody is the fakest. I make this every day and I'm impatient, hoping one day I blow up from the basement. Statement, the top is so vacant. I don't hear shit that I think is amazing. Waiting for my day when I'm playing sold out shows for 1,000 faces. Hey, give me that crown, get in my way and to be put down. It ain't your place, all this my town. If I want that shit, then I'll get it right now. I'm losing it, the noose it fits. I'm losing shit, a stupid myth. You choose to live or choose to dip. You choose to fight or lose your grip and lose a gift.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign.
Yeah. There's no mercy in this world, just hunger-thirsty persons in different versions. Each new update, that shit worsens. Why? Pull back the curtain and you'll see the different.
This is the value of wrestling, the revolutionary force in wrestling podcasting.
Oh, you didn't know? Well, you better tell somebody. Share this video out because we are live right here on the Value Wrestling with your Dynamite for January 10th. Live review show right here. AEW Dynamite in the can. January 10th. Back home in Daly's place. Big deal. Big night. After last night's shenanigans and all these stories that are going down. La-de-da-de. We're here to party. Wow. The chat's up, and there's a poll in the chat. Join that poll. Join in the conversation in the chat. Miguel, the New Japan Wrestling expert, the Encyclopedia Britannica. I can talk tonight. I got to get it ready. I got to get it going. I got to get my vibe flowing. Ladies and gentlemen, Miguel Z's in the chat, and the poll's up, and right now it says that AEW Dynamite was putting people to sleep tonight. So that says a lot. Somebody thought this was good shit, pal, and it's average. It happened. That's where I stand. It was average. It happened. It started off pretty decent. It was good for them to be back in Daly's place. The crowd felt alive for the beginning part of this show, a little bit towards the end. But this is what I'm telling Tony Khan. Go back to Daly's place. Put these shows back in Daly's place. At least put Collision back in Daly's place. Or have Collision in Daly's place. I don't think Collision was ever there. But you know, the small crowd, the intimate crowd, the hardcore fan base, they're going to come out and cheer. You're going to get the reactions you want. It's going to make some of these things feel a little more important. AEW Dynamite, we start off with Claudio Castagnoli versus Hangman Adam Page. And we got a good, solid outing between these guys. These guys, of course, it was a little bit of a slow pace. So if you're not a big wrestling in-ring fan, sometimes that slower pace, it was a lot of punching, slapping, back and forth. Which to me, it kind of takes me out of it when you're smacking the crap out of each other and nobody's selling. It hurts. Like, I'm sorry, if you're really slapping somebody, if you're really punching somebody, you're going to sell and stumble a little bit. But when they're just knocking each other, it just kind of takes me out of it a little bit. So I'm not always a big fan. But, I mean, we got a good match between these two. The only thing I would say about this turned out to be more of a pay-per-view quality match with all the near finishes and the back and forth than a TV match. So it felt kind of wasted and overplayed for a TV show where you got all these back and forths. It's like the near falls and everybody taking every finisher. It's great to kick out, but it's like some of that needs to be saved for pay-per-view quality, not on TV shows. Now, I know you're trying to make Claudio still look good in a loss to Hangman, but, you know, I don't know if it was necessary to have him kick out of like almost every finisher Hangman has. But eventually Hangman hits a... let's see where we are. Rising uppercut from Claudio to Page, and Claudio locks up for the bomb, but Page reverses it with a Rana, buckshot lariat 1, buckshot lariat 2, and a 1, 2, 3. Good solid match. Went 17 minutes, 7 seconds. Hangman Adam Page gets a win here over Claudio Castagnoli. a good match. I mean, like I said, the only thing I said is some of these slapping and punching that they would do because they did this kind of they go wrestle and then they just start punching each other. Then they go wrestle and they start punching each other. It's like trying to keep my attention invested. At least for me, is when some of that stuff is like, okay, now you're breaking out of kayfabe, and I'm disconnected to the match because it's like, okay, you're slapping and punching each other, but you're not necessarily selling it. I get it a little bit. The adrenaline's pumping to an extent, but it's like, man, when you keep going back to it, kind of loses me there. And of course, when it's on TV, kicking out of everybody's finishers, it's kind of like, okay, you're not protecting the finisher, so it doesn't feel as as strong later on. But again, I will say this match should have been more of a pay-per-view style match. This is something that if it would have been on a pay-per-view, I would have been okay with, other than the punch, 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 wrestle, 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 punch, 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 punch. But hey, I think you got a good solid thing here with Hangman and Claudio Castagnoli. Hangman Adam Page getting a big, big win here. Let's see if Tony Khan can capitalize on that big win. We'll have to wait and see. Mr. Clarke, your thoughts on Adam Hangman Page and Claudio Castagnoli. In the words of Jake the Snake, less is more and sell. Yes.
I thought this show overall was I had it right in my head, but that's the problem with having ADD and anywho. Anyways, let's just, I guess, go back to the actual question about the match itself. I thought it was fine. I liked the fact that Hangman kept coming out with fire. He kept being aggressive. Since his time with Swerve, he's keeping up this particular character, and I like that. This is what's needed to give him a little bit of shine back. Before getting choked out.
Yeah.
Like, he's got something to prove. And it helps the fact that he's a former world champion, which he can be inserted into main event level scenes.
So what you're saying is if you win a world champion in the past, you could show up and get a title match because you were a former world champion.
No, but you are going to be in the conversation.
Yes.
To be built back up into there.
From there, we got what should have been called the Brody Lee Memorial Match of the Night because, oh my gosh, rest in peace, Brody Lee. We love Brody Lee. It was nothing against Brody Lee, but man, did the commentary team constantly was like Brody Lee, Brody Lee, Brody Lee. And I was like, okay, I feel like I'm drowning in the name Brody Lee. We got Orange Cassidy teaming up with Dustin Rhodes and Adam Copeland and Preston Vance, and I'll give the commentary team credit. They gave us a little bit of a reason of why this match was happening because the Brian Cage and the Gates of Agony faced Brody Lee, Cody Rhodes, and Preston Vance in a match. It was Orange Cassidy, I think. It might have been Orange Cassidy, Cody Rhodes, and Brody Lee versus Brian Cage and the Gates of Agony. At least they gave us a history of why some of these people are in this. They told us that Preston Vance was a hand-picked soldier by Brody Lee. So we got a little bit Dustin kind of replacing Cody to make sense. Adam trying to play the role of Brody Lee in this match in a sense. The only thing I was kind of taken back by Adam Copeland was the hat, the plain black tights, the basic, like he didn't really come out in what we're used to seeing him wrestle in. So I don't know if he's just, I don't care. I'm here to just, have fun. I don't know. It kind of took me away because I'm like, this is not the normal Adam Copeland, but cool. Whatever. We got Brian Cage and the Gates of Agony with Lance Archer in this match. Jake the Snake actually with Lance Archer this time. And we get a good solid 8-man tag match here. The fans were really into it, which helped make this match feel more important, feel better. Being in that smaller venue and letting the fans chant, it was definitely a great moment. We get a spear from Copeland. Dustin flies with a cannonball, Vance with a discus lariat, and a cover for 1, 2, 3. This match went 10 minutes and 21 seconds. I don't know if that hit a 5-star match like this person's giving it, but it was definitely a good match. But it should have been the Brody Lee Memorial Cup match or something because, they just like Brody Lee, which is cool. I understand it. It was just like, okay. Your thoughts, sir?
To me, the commentary team was inconsistent because they were trying to make it out like Preston Vance is, I don't even know how to describe it. It was like this is what Brody Lee would have wanted from Preston Vance.
Yeah.
But the problem here is the inconsistency. When Preston Vance left Dark Order, he broke Brody Lee's kid's heart. He broke Negative One's heart. You think Brody Lee would have wanted that?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like,
No.
yes, give Brody Lee his flowers, even posthumously. I'm cool with that. But make it make sense. Preston Vance, all of a sudden being like, okay, yeah, Brody, behind the scenes, the person who plays Preston Vance, sure. The character does not make sense to me.
No, we got Preston Vance playing like he was in Dark Order still, because he was playing the baby face and doing all the looking up and Brody, which is cool and great, but it was just kind of like the way he left Dark Order so just vehemently, just so heelishly. It's hard to swallow in this match. I mean, at least the commentary team tried to give us a justification for this match. So I want to give him credit on that end. Yes. I'm giving him credit. You want me to be like, find something positive about AEW? I'm going. The commentary team at least gave us something to go. Okay, well, at least we know why some of these people are in this match. When we were sitting here going, why are we getting this? This is, basically this is a Brody Lee memorial match because it was back in Daly's place, and that's what it was. A good solid match. I don't think it was a 5-star match, but it was good. I mean, we got a good AEW match. Yeah, we got what you expect in Daly's place.
The moment you saw Brian Cage and Gates of Agony on one side, you knew they were losing.
Yes.
They have not won
what's
too many matches.
Isn't Lance Archer the Jinder Mahal of AEW? Not at the hands of Lance Archer. Not at the hands of Lance Archer. Oh, man, Paulus has a point. He did break. Yeah, he did break. The way he left Dark Order, Preston Vance made him super heel, and how they never did anything to run with that and just kind of buried it. Of course, Dark Order's not even wrestling anymore. They're off doing being the Dark Order instead of being the Elite.
They're on Ring of Honor. They're not on AEW TV all that often.
Well, they're not on AEW TV, and who watches Ring of Honor except the hardcore Ring of Honor fans? And I'm telling you again, Ring of Honor's near death. You don't have a world champion that's singly a world champion that you can focus on. You can't even build somebody up to be a focused world heavyweight champion because Tony Khan is going to put that belt in with 2 other belts. Now, if this would have been like the pure champion or secondary champion in Ring of Honor, it might be okay. But for it being the Ring of Honor world champion, you don't have any way to build a world champion in Ring of Honor right now.
Yes, you do. But instead of going for the ROH title singly, as you've been putting out, obviously it's the Continental crown.
Yes. No, you have to go for all 3 belts. And I just feel like you've hurt your...
You're trying to act like it doesn't exist, but it does. Now, do we like it the way it exists? Maybe not. Yes. But it still does exist.
But again, even if you were to have somebody from Ring of Honor beat Eddie Kingston for those 3 titles, would the focus be on the Ring of Honor world title, or would it be on the Continental Crown, North American Triple Crown?
You already know the answer to your own question.
I know. Well, that's my point. It's like, how do you make Ring of Honor feel special without a ability to focus on the world title, because the focus is on the conglomerate of this Triple Crown crap?
I recently watched an episode of Ring of Honor from, what was it, last week, I think it was. Their commercials still promote AEW stuff. Yeah. It might as well just be one freaking company.
That's why I'm saying. That's why I say it's dead. Ring of Honor's dead. Tony Khan's just toying with the Ring of Honor fans to try to keep them happy and give the extra 200 stars he has on his roster of bloatedness something to do.
Somewhere to work. Yeah.
I mean, Athena, congratulations. You're the Ring of Honor Women's Champion, but are you really in the spot that you want to when we should be seeing you on AEW dancing with Julia Hart, Sky Blue, Saraya, Ruby Soho, Tony Storm, Cheetah, or any of these other people that are on the main roster? I mean, Athena and Thunder Rosa? And of course, I know Mr. Clarke would say, here's all the money I have if we were going to have a match with Athena and Deonna Purrazzo.
For sure.
So, I'm just saying.
For sure.
She's being highlighted because she has the most important belt in Ring of Honor. But does she feel like the most important female wrestler in a company that's actually AEW? Anyways, from there we got we got Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe comes out. He's out here to chant, talking about the devil making a bad deal, and now he wants the title, yada, yada, yada. And out comes Mogul Embassy. We got Brian Cage and the Gates of Agony along with Prince Nana and Sword Strickland. Now, earlier in that four-way dance, Nana came out and didn't dance because they went right into Lance Archer's music. But he came out and he got the dance finally, so everybody who was dying to see Nana dance got their moment of Nana dancing here. So we had a great moment. This felt very like, okay, I think, this is the direction we need to head for New Year's Revolution. Sword Strickland versus Samoa Joe. This should be your title match. This felt important. We were having this moment. I thought we were going to go somewhere with it, and then we got Hangman Adam Page. I guess Tony Khan's new favorite return toy. He's taken a shining to the Hangman and Cowboy shit again. Comes out and he confronts Swerve initially, and then he goes to Joe and tells Joe that he tells them both that he's going to win a world title in 2024. He's getting his title back, and you're kind of like, what have you really done recently? Yes, you can be in the title picture because you're former AEW champion, but you haven't really done anything to really build back up. Now, yes, you had a great match against Claudio Castagnoli. You're on that right step in right direction, but we need more continuing of this build of a Hangman that we can feel is a threat to Samoa Joe, because my last vision is you getting choked out by Swerve, who broke into your house. And I'm just like, doesn't sit well. So that killed it. And then Page leaves, Swerve leads, and then we get Hook. And Hook gets right up nose to nose with Samoa Joe and says, 1 week, I guess we're getting Samoa Joe versus Hook next week on Dynamite to fulfill, to pretty much fulfill Tony Khan's fantasy. I guess, I don't know. I don't even know what to say. I love Hook. I think Hook's great, but I know Hook is still green. And Hook is not on the level with Joe, and that's nothing bad about Hook. He's been booked to be 28-1. That's awesome. That's a great way to build him. He has something, but he doesn't have that you can look at him and go against Joe and go, he's a threat. I'm sorry. And this is where I can't buy into it, and it doesn't bring me interest, because I'm just like, in the ring, they might give Hook a showcase. Cool. Against Joe, I don't know if that's the right person to do that against. It's just, I'm sorry. I get it. And Hook's 28-1. He has a great record because that's how he's been booked. But Hook should be fighting for like the TNT title with Christian. That is more viable to me than him confronting Joe for the AEW title. Nothing wrong with saying he wants to be AEW champion, but coming out of really nowhere in left field to be jumping into the deep end, into the shark pool, to get into, this end. I love Hook, and it's nothing against Hook. I love what they do. Hook is something they do right with. Hook has kind of that Goldberg, record kind of going for him, but he doesn't. He's not Goldberg level, no. But there's something there, and I'm just like, you're jumping the gun a little early here. Maybe, especially with Joe just winning the title. We know Hook's going to get buried, and it's just like, why do we need this match? Mr. Clarke, your thoughts on all of this with Samoa Joe, Swerve, Hangman, and Hook?
To be honest, I was hoping for a Joe Swerve 1-on-1 for Revolution. Yeah. The fact that they're sticking Hangman in there tells me that that's probably going to be a triple threat. It is what it is, wherever it goes.
Is this going to be? Is this going to be what I thought it was? That they're going to give Swerve the title, but they're not going to have Swerve beat Joe. They're going to have Swerve pin Hangman to win the title in a triple threat match, so Swerve can be AEW champion. Because I said this a while back. I think Swerve may be the guy to take it off Joe. How? I don't know. Well, he could have also been the guy to take it off MJF, depending on how that went. And I think, one of my predictions has been Swerve versus Will Ospreay at All In. So is Joe going to be the
transitional champion?
Yeah. Is that what we're seeing here? And they don't want to have Joe.
I'm really hoping not. But obviously we'll find out at Revolution itself. But the bigger thing to me, at least for tonight, Joe can be called many things. I just didn't know next week he's going to be called a child killer. Because, like you said, we all love Hook. We all think they're doing great things with Hook. But they are, like you said, they are jumping the gun. I'm like, unless there's some silly shenanigans, there is no way Hook is not escaping without a loss.
I hope he's not out there with Danhausen. I hope Hook doesn't come out with his. I love Orange Cassidy. Danhausen. You can't be mad at him. He's kind of, he's probably going to be AEW's variation of an R-Truth in the long run. I don't know. I hope he doesn't come out with those. I hope he doesn't come out with those people because it's going to bring him down a little bit where it really makes him feel like he's not on the level with Joe. It's just he's not on the level with Joe, and it's just like I don't know how you justify this. I mean, even if you gave Shook a showcase, I'm still like, Joe's too Joe. Joe is just Joe, and this in reality, Joe just Hook can come in here and Joe can stand there and take a little bit from Hook. But once Joe launches, Hook's dead. I mean, that's the only way I can see that Joe is going to put Hook in his place. Like, yeah, you're not ready to step up to the big leagues. And I'm just like, this isn't good. And then you're going to make Hook like 29-2 or whatever his record going to be. So, I mean, it's there's a difference between Hook and Jinder Mahal. Jinder Mahal, we can see going into World Championship next week against Seth Rollins. And we're like, he's getting fed to Seth Rollins. He loses. He goes away. It doesn't bother us because it's like we don't have enough care. It's Jinder. Can we say, yeah, he's a former world champion? Yes, he attacked Seth Rollins. There's a story there. It makes sense why he's there. Cool. It's a one-off. It's keeping Rollins busy as we build in the Rumble. And we don't know what else may happen. And, of course, all this may change after yesterday's shenanigans. Pray to God not. But, hey, it is. But, see, we care about Hook. And we want to see Hook be treated the way he is. And there's something that Tony Khan has done right with Hook. But this is not going to help that vision. I want to see Hook hungry for champions. Nothing wrong with that. But throwing him into the ring with Joe at this point, and it's like, oh, no.
I mean, even when they were building Orange Cassidy throughout his AEW career, they had him face a Jericho. They had him face other talents that's like, okay, we are starting to launch him.
Well, at least when they did him and Jericho, they gave us a little bit of storyline about how much Jericho was pretty much annoyed with his character, So they gave us a storyline of why Jericho. And then he's worked his way up where we see him and Moxley going at it, and we're ready to see it because he's gotten to that level where, it doesn't hurt either person to lose here. Hook and Samoa and Joe are on such different levels, and it's just like, if it's not
making my point for me.
If it's not a burial, I don't know how. I don't want to see Hook get buried. Not by Joe. And yes, you can give Hook a showcase, but I don't really think it's gonna. I don't think it benefits making Hook. You're not. I don't think it's viable. That's the thing, because they're not on the level. Anyways.
Yes and no. The whole point of a showcase, though, is to give you a little something for that future resume.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know if it's as bad as you feel, but I don't know. It depends on the execution, ultimately.
I guess. I mean, it's just not the right time. That's my biggest complaint. It's just like you look at it. You can't look it on paper. You can't look it on paper and not cringe. At least a little bit, going, oh, oh.
Like I said, Joe's gonna become a child killer.
I hope Taz is doing something else. I hope he's on commentary. I don't know if he wants to watch that live. We may have the Samoan submission machine have to meet the human suplex machine.
That man cannot get in the ring again. He's too out of shape.
Yeah, but if your kid's getting squashed, you're not gonna go save your kid regardless. Anyways. Backstage with Tony Storm and Renee and Mariah May, and they talk about Mariah May's match, and Tony's like, oh, I didn't watch it. So we sit there, and we talk briefly about Deonna Purrazzo. And so, yeah, not a whole lot here. Just kind of putting Tony on TV, continuing this little storyline with Mariah May, where Mariah May is obsessed with her, and Tony Storm's basically blowing her off. We see all the color in the black and white. It is what it is. there anything you want to add to this moment?
There's nothing really to add.
I feel like it just kind of they keep kind of Tony Storm was up here with this character, and she's just kind of blah 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 blah.
Trickling
And if
down.
they bring Mercedes Moné in, then I don't know what you do with Tony Storm from there. Anyways, here's Sammy Guevara, and he's here, and he says we're home, baby, and we're gonna get Sammy Guevara versus Ricky Starks, and this is kind of where the downfall went because the fans went silent. Most of this match, there was moments they were into it, but it was pretty much a quiet match. Again, and everybody's saying it. Sammy Guevara has now become the big show of AEW. The face heel, face heel, face heels. And he's never gotten over on either of them. Like, they never really get it anywhere. And he had a moment to be a natural heel. Then he was a babyface. And then he went back and turned on Jericho and became a heel. And now he's a babyface to be in the corner, to be buddies with Jericho again, to forgive all the crap that he was mad about originally because Omega got diverticulitis. Awesome.
Well, I mean, you do what you have to do, I guess.
Yeah, it didn't work. This is a solid match for both these guys. It was a solid match, but the crowd wasn't there, which took out from a bit of it because the crowd had been so hyped for most of the matches. They kind of silently went quiet here. Guevara wins at 9 minutes 27 seconds. Guevara is celebrating the rings. Ricky understands he lost. Sammy gets down to talk to Ricky, extends his hand, and they shake. Sammy has some words for Ricky, showing some respect, and then Big Bill comes in and attacks Sammy. And then Fozzy plays their song as Chris Jericho comes out. Why am I forgetting Fozzy's? Judas, there we go. Judas plays by Fozzy as Chris Jericho comes down to the ring to help out Sammy Guevara. And the crowd starts singing, and they play the song the whole time that Jericho's out there. And they're doing this whole stint to cover up any possible boos. That's the only reason that they continue to play his music the whole time. The crowd basically sang along, kept them busy. But yeah, It was a good match. Continuing the storyline, we know Jericho and Sammy Guevara get in the title match at on Saturday at Battle of the Belts 9. And yeah. We'll see how the fans feel about it then when you're not in Daly's place and you're having a tag team match with somebody who obviously is not really who's supposed to be a babyface, but the wrestling people are still, it's all out there. It's still going, and there's supposedly some more stuff coming out. So I don't know. And I don't think anybody's interested.
This
Go ahead.
match was the most throwback to AEW history. Going back to the pandemic, going back to Daly's, because like you said, the audience wasn't as loud as they were for some of the other matches.
Yeah.
Well, this is definitely this would have fit just fine in the pandemic era. But it was a solid match. I actually enjoyed watching these guys work.
Yeah.
Where they go from here, how this tag match coming up for the titles goes. Like usual, just depends on execution.
So from there, we move into the 8-woman tag match because we needed multiple 8-person tags on tonight's card. But we get Chris Statlander and Willow Nightingale, who have become a team, at least in the Ring of Honor world, and kind of blending over. Even Stokely Hathaway has reached out to Kurt Angle to make a cameo to talk about them two, giving Stokely Hathaway a second chance. Interesting. Anyway, Thunder Rose is teaming up with Chris Statlander and Will Nightingale. Kind of makes sense. And then we get Anna Jay teaming with them, even though I think Anna Jay was a heel last time and she was hanging out with Saraya last time. And so it was very confusing because they're taking on Saraya, Ruby Soho, Sky Blue, and Julia Hart. So it's Sky Blue and Julia Hart versus with the Outcast. You got a decent match. It was a women's match. I'm a little kerfuffled and a little not, like, I don't know if I want to get in and talk about the AEW women because I don't want to be classified as anything if I'm not giving them what they want. I don't know. Their recent videos have kind of taken me out. I love Anna Jay. Of course, Anna Jay gets the win here with the Queen Slayer tapping out Sky Blue and Julia Hart. I love what they do. They're really good. Thunder Rosa's awesome. Chris Statlander, she's good, but I don't know. I love the Nightingale's getting good. For me, I know you have more depth with them. But Saraya and Ruby Soho are kind of just flat, and like I don't even know why they're here. I feel like Saraya's
Yeah.
lost so much momentum after losing the women's title after the big moment in Wembley, and now it's kind of like, yeah, cool. And of course, she's leading this women's whatever they want to call it on Twitter with these videos, and so it went 9 minutes 4 seconds. It was a match. I know you feel differently, but go ahead.
We've already talked about in a previous video about the whole women's thing on
Yeah.
X/Twitter.
Yeah.
It is what it is on that end. But when I'm watching them perform, forget their agendas, forget, I'm just watching them in ring. I like what I like. I like their wrestling. I'm sorry, is it wrong to say that I like their aesthetic? Sue me, it's human nature.
Yes. In this day and age, that's what's wrong because you're either a pervert, a creep, a stalker, according to their analysis.
But that's
this
also
is
what pays their bills. Because those fans who don't just look at them like they're men, but women, wrestling's like, no, it's everything involved.
well,
Like,
they
you have to have skill. I understand that they want their merit, and like I said, they want.
they can have their merit. I don't get how they can take all wrestling fans and throw them into one pile and say,
Right.
"Oh, we're not appreciated because of this." When I'm like, no, there's a lot of talent here. I'm just going to be honest, and I'm sorry if you're upset by it, but Saraya and Ruby Soho are flat. Saraya had the big moment with winning the AEW World's title, and they killed that. That's on Tony Khan, not Saraya. But what has really Saraya done since she's come to AEW? She popped, she flat, she won the title. In this big moment, we thought something big was going to happen to it, and then she lost the Sheeta. Sheeta eventually passed it on to Tony Storm, and Tony Storm that's outshining her two former members of Outcast, and Ruby Soho, who was so upset about, Ruby Riott, the gimmick in WWE, and I still feel like that was a better fit. They were doing more with her than AEW is really doing with her. And they sort of had a love angle. I don't know if that's died now. I can't keep up. 1 week it's this, 1 week it's
The
that.
commentators have talked about it a little bit. Like
Yeah.
they briefly mentioned it.
And then when you have Anna Jay in here on the weird side, and you're kind of like, well, what are we supposed to be here? Thunder Rosa making her comeback, which is great. Will and Chris Statlander and Will Nightingale, they're trying to make a team of them. I don't know necessarily why. I guess it's more of a Ring of Honor thing than
a team, because it's actually more of a set them to eventually wrestle. So
we got
out the way being kind of that.
But I guess that's a Ring of Honor thing. You have to be watching Ring of Honor to understand that better.
Yes, this is true. Tony has been trying to weave storylines between Ring of Honor and AEW, and it doesn't work because, like we've all said, most people don't watch Ring of Honor for whatever reason, whether it's because they don't have the money, they're not enough interest, whatever the case is.
When you look at AEW, unless you're a diehard Ring of Honor fan, when you watch AEW, are you really going to have faith in going to watch Ring of Honor and give money up to watch Ring of Honor? If you're like, okay, this stuff isn't good, what is he doing over there with that? Do I really want to pay money to watch stuff that might not be good?
That's a fair point as well.
So, a decent match. Anyways, we switch gears to Will Yuta, who gets a video promo telling Eddie Kingston he's a grown-ass man and won't tolerate disrespect. So Will Yuta going after Eddie Kingston and I guess that Triple Crown. Yay. Excuse me.
On one hand, I liked the fact that they're trying to make Will Yuta a little bit more serious. Yes. Continue with the his team, but stand alone, give him his own merit.
Yes.
But by the same time, it's like, just being fed to Kingston.
Yeah.
So it's like,
well, anytime, and it's that part. I love Eddie Kingston, and he got this is he got his platform, he got this Triple Crown, great moment, but they really never the Continental Class, the Continental Crown, the Triple Crown, the North American Triple Crown, whatever the freak they call this, because it's been called so many different names, and I wish they would just tell me what they want us to call it, so we can call it that and leave it where it is. It's a great moment for Eddie, and I love it, but now it's kind of like I'm back to really like I don't care about these 3 titles because you never gave me any reason to care. You never built history about what the importance of a Triple Crown is. You did nothing. You're just like, whoa, we're going to do this to be a Triple Crown. which at first I thought, well, maybe he's trying to compete with New Japan Pro Wrestling, but we found out that was never a New Japan Pro Wrestling thing. It was an All Japan Pro Wrestling thing. So it's like, and then when it boiled down to Eddie Kingston wanted to be a Triple Crown winner like his heroes. Who were those heroes? We never found out. I'm hoping that Eddie carries his title and eventually when Eddie loses them, like he loses to somebody and they like separate him or break him apart, they can do the Continental Tournament each year. They can have the Continental Crown title on the line each year. But I think they need to get the Ring of Honor World title back to Ring of Honor TV, where it can be the world title for Ring of Honor. And the New Japan
Strong open weight
can do whatever it does. I don't really know. I don't think this Triple Crown asset's really hurting New Japan in that title anyways. It's kind of like, yeah, cool, whatever. But it's like, I hope somebody just breaks them apart so we can end this and just be like, it was fun. We had a moment. Eddie Kingston can be the only AEW Triple Crown for a while until you do it sometime down the road. I don't need a whole bunch of people being Triple Crown winners in AEW. It's like, there's moments where that's special, but to have it where somebody's defending it as a Triple Crown, so as soon as somebody wins it, now they're a Triple Crown champion, you're going to dilute the pool of making that special, because when you have 10 and then 15 Triple Crown winners over the years, and you're like, okay, well, yay, Triple Crown, whoopee.
Right.
Anyways.
Wheeler Yuta is no one's young boy, according to what Wheeler Yuta said. Miguel says another young boy getting fed to Kingston.
Speaking of young boys, did you hear that Grayson Waller feels that his life is in danger backstage nowadays in WWE, that he fears for his life and his safety along with his friend Austin Theory because Kevin Owens is on the loose? Gotta love Grayson Waller. Though. Yes.
Hashtag Team Young Boys.
Anyways, we get the Undisputed Kingdom. And they place a seat down for Cole, and we get the weirdest thing I've ever seen because Adam Cole's out there. Roderick Strong, no neck brace because we're done with that, no wheelchair. And then the Matt Taven and Mike Bennett, they all have Undisputed t-shirts on. Wardlow comes out in sweatpants and a hoodie that says Wolf, like Lone Wolf or something on it. So I'm like, are these going to be the foreshadowing things that he's on by himself? He's here as a lone wolf. It's like, are we going to get a double thing? Like Cole turned on MJF before MJF could turn on Cole. So is Wardlow's theory going to be, well, I turned on them before they could turn on me? Is this the paralysis we're going? Because if it is, I'm just shaking my head going, this is getting dumb. Anyways, we got Roderick Strong versus Brian Keith, the bounty hunter, that I guess Tony Khan has a deep fascination with him. I don't know if it's because he calls himself the bounty hunter and Tony Khan used to watch Dog the Bounty Hunter, and so he thinks there's some connection there, and it's over. This guy's not, I don't know what this guy's all important about, but all of a sudden he's like in every freaking match everywhere. Just the bounty hunter, Brian Keith. I'm like, cool. Whatever. So is Wardlow stealing gimmicks from Baron Corbin, Lone Wolf? I don't know, Miguel. I don't know. Anyways, Roderick Strong, Keith tries for a Tiger Driver, but Strong lifts him up, rolls through for a pin, 1-2. No, Strong kicks out. High knee, he locks in the head, lifts up, end of heartache, 1-2-3. Roderick Strong wins at 4 minutes, 19 seconds. This person gave it a 1-star rating, and I don't know who this Brian Keith is, and I don't know what Tony Khan thinks is so great about him, because I haven't seen it yet. And so before we get in...
the gimmick, they could actually do something on the lower card aspect of the card, but Tony Khan doesn't know how to do stories, so even simple stories, simple vignettes, apparently it's too hard for him.
I want to know where he got the nickname Bounty Hunter, because he comes out wearing the poncho thingy. I forget what they call it, but I'm like, don't look like no Bounty Hunter to me. He looks like a bad ripoff or a wannabe of one Rich Swann, honestly, right now. Without all the dance moves.
Yeah, it's like he doesn't dance, so I don't know.
So I mean, if you went to Temu or Wish or whatever it was, and you wanted to get Rich Swann, you'd wind up getting Brian Keith. That's where we put that. So, your thoughts on the match before we get into the other dumb shenanigans?
Match was all right. You knew this was just going to be a showcase for Roderick Strong. That's all this was. And I don't mind, but by the same token, if you're expecting some big story, it's like you weren't going to get out of
No.
this segment.
Thank God we didn't get Adam tonight. Hopefully they ended that crap now. Anyway, so
that's a part of his character moving forward. You already know that.
But if this is supposed to be a serious team, they need to lose that end of that. Like, they can't be.
That's the way you and I think. Tony Khan on his.
If you want me to take the Undisputed Kingdom seriously, the new stooges of wrestling need to get their shit together. That's all I'm going to say. Anyways, Adam Cole with the mic. He's sitting down. He's going to put over Strong, a 20-year veteran, one of the most physical and incredible wrestlers alive. The international champion has Roderick Strong's name all over it. Again, Roderick Strong, Adam Cole have their history. They're best friends, blah, blah, blah. But why is Adam Cole and why is Roderick Strong okay with Adam Cole going, oh, you're international champion level, not a world champion, but that international champion, that'll be perfect for you. And it's just like, you're already bringing cracks into a group that you're starting. You're already building these little things, and I'm just like, don't already kind of direct the thing. Anyways, he goes from there, talks about
super factions. Did you ever see Ric Flair say, "Hey, Arn Anderson is going to be the next world champion"?
No.
Okay,
no.
Having their roles and being okay to a degree, like, okay, I can see how if Roderick Strong wanted to have an ego about it, and start having cracks. Yes, you already got those seats there. But I mean, as far as this is just the start of this stable,
yes,
as who they are presently, everyone having a role is actually kind of a good idea to know where is each character allegedly supposed to be going.
I get that in sense, but I'm just like, the way he does it is just like, okay, yeah. And then he talks about Taven and Bennett, not only the greatest Ring of Honor tag team champions, but currently the champions. They've never gotten the respect that they deserve, and I thought, well, at least in the realm of Ring of Honor, I thought they were well respected. In AEW, maybe not, because it's apple to oranges in that occasion. And finally, one of the most vicious men in AEW history, Wardlow. Now that he's surrounded by people who respect him, when the time is right, we are going to win the AEW World Championship. Boys and girls, say hello to your new home. Your new kingdom, rather. Get comfortable, because they will be here for a long time.
Yeah, they respect Wardlow so much. Like, now, replace Wardlow for a second with Samoa Joe. Would Adam Cole be still saying the same thing?
No.
It's like, make it make sense even in your own promo, in your own logic. It's like...
And the other thing here...
if I blame Tony for this one, or if I blame Adam Cole himself.
I don't know.
In that...
And this is a repeat of what he said last week. Different. True. It's the same thing that he said the first week he came out. He repeated himself like they needed a do-over. He sounded a little more intense and a little more like, yeah, this is what it is. But I'm just like, okay, you're repeating the same shit. Is this what we're going to get every week? We're going to do this. We are going to blah, blah, blah. And you're like, cool.
Don't talk to me about it. Show me.
Yeah. And, of course, I guess this person didn't put it in here at one point. We got Jay White with the Guns talking about I guess it was after this Undisputed Kingdom. And then in walked, they talked about being dominant, a dominant group, a dominant faction, winning titles, had 6-man titles or 3-man title, whatever it is, a trios title. I forget, one's 6-man, one's trios. Why they can't have the same name, I don't know. Stupid stuff. Anyways, they talk about that. That brings out your trios champions for AEW, who, in case you forgot, are Billy Gunn and Acclaimed. Daddy asked and Acclaimed. They walk in and they want to make a friendship. They are reaching out their hands to make a super faction with the Bang Bang Club or the Bang Bang Gang, and they want to be the Bang Bang Scissor Gang. And so now Tony Khan looks like he's going to meld Bullet Club Gold, or at least the remnants of it, without Juice Robinson until he gets back, which is the Bang Bang Club, with the Acclaimed and Daddy Ass. And I guess we're going to get this 6-man super group of some sorts that just makes you go, no.
Jay White. We're going to get that or not. The seed is definitely there, obviously, by this promo.
But I didn't get the Jay White. We didn't get the Jay White that we should have gotten. I'm like, fuck this shit. Where's heel Jay White in this?
You don't know where that's going to lead. He might be just fucking with them. Excuse me, messing with them.
Okay, I can't make that comment on air. Anyways, Jay White made a mistake going to AEW. He would have been better off in WWE at this point. Jay White versus Finn Balor, Jay White versus AJ Styles, the storylines, the promos there. At least Jay White would have been felt something. Now he's like, anyways, that happened, and then we got your wifey, Deanna Perrazzo, in a backstage with Renee. She's a huge signing, says Renee. How is she feeling? She's still on Cloud 9, but if Tony wants to continue to pretend she doesn't know who she is, she'll send Tony to a screener. Yes, because Tony said earlier after the big announcement, she's still on this Wendy Richter thing, which I think even Jim Cornette was kind of going off on Tony Storm. Why are we bringing up Wendy Richter? Like, come on. Anyway, so now, as Mr. Clarke knows, he's going to have to watch multiple wrestling on Saturday night, as he's going to have to figure out how to watch the Battle in the Valley, TNA Hard to Kill, and Collision in some type of form, so he can see Wifey take on Red Velvet, and maybe he'll get himself a nice slice of Red Velvet cake. Of course, if you go to Marie Counters, they have Red Velvet pie, which is very confusing to me, because I'm like, I don't know what a Red Velvet pie is. Maybe if I got a piece someday, I'd try it. But if you want to know where the best pie ever is, it's up in Oregon in this beautiful place. It's a chocolate peanut butter banana pie. It is. You would think it's funky, but I mean the peanut butter aspect of peanut butter was so fluffy and tasty, and the chocolate was right on point, and just enough bananas. Oh, it was heaven. But anyways, Mr. Clarke on Saturday night will be watching Collision briefly for this match with a big piece of Red Velvet cake.
I will be watching TNA Hard to Kill. Then after that show, either through clips or other means, then I'll look at the other things. But the primary is going to be TNA Hard to Kill.
And so now we're into your main event. Falls Count Anywhere. Sting and Darby Allin versus the Don Callis, or the Don Thallus, if you're a Jim Cornette fan, family. Powerhouse Hobbs and Takeshita. Yeah. Anyways. And Jim Ross is out here on commentary. Ric Flair is at ringside. And we get a match. It goes into a street fight. We get all the same stuff that you get in this type of fight. At least Sting didn't try to kill himself tonight. But anyways, Hobbs is standing tall. He drops the straps. He grabs Sting. Hobbs walks Sting over to the edge of the stage. There are two tables set up low. Sting reverses. Scorpion and Jeff drop onto the table. Sting covers for 1, 2, 3. At one point, Flair got in the ring, got involved in the match. And it was the type of match you expect from Sting and Darby Allin in a Falls Count Anywhere. Powerhouse Hobbs looking weak. Takeshita looking just kind of flattening. They built up Takeshita to feel really important and valuable and special. And now it's just kind of like he's lost some of that. I mean, he had 2 pins over Kenny Omega. He looked like he was going somewhere. The Don Callis family looked like it was kind of going somewhere. But now it's kind of like, nah. But the match was, what it was. A decent match. The fans were definitely into it. It's Sting's probably last match at Daly's Place. And they love seeing Sting. Your thoughts?
I thought the match was all right. I pretty much knew what to expect, so it wasn't like big excitement, but it wasn't like big letdown either. My biggest gripe was the referee allowing Ric Flair to come into the ring and get physical. I'm like, one, that should have been disqualification right there.
No, it was no DQ. It was Falls Count Anywhere. No DQ.
I still don't like the fact he was in the ring.
No, I know.
No matter what the damn rules were. Should
have been in the ring. He must have chugged a couple of his energy drinks down backstage. Tony. Yes. So after the match, Tony Schiavone gets in the ring and he brings up Mark Shirt and Revolution and he asks Sting who your opponent will be. And I was like, yes, we're going to learn who his opponent's going to be. This is going to be awesome. And before Sting can say anything, the Young Bucks make their fucking return. It had been rumored all day that they were in town. The Young Bucks come out and they look dapper. The commentating team trying to sell in this hardcore, there's a change, there's something different about them. They're looking different. And I'm just like, they look like the Young Bucks that just walked off an airplane. I mean, I don't know what you expect. And
it also did not help that they came out to their original music.
They're supposed to be this new heel faction with their group. They've gotten all these names. They're kill the business. They're here to, be super dick party. I don't know what they're going to do, but I look at this and I go, this is crap. I don't want to see the Young Bucks in a tag team match against Sting and Darby Allin. Give me Sting versus Darby Allin. Give me Sting passing the torch to Darby at Revolution. Darby pins Sting in a great match. They can call it a no DQ. They can have a street fight. They can battle it out. Sting can do like Shawn did with the Undertaker when Shawn was retiring, where he kept getting up and fighting until he was like, "Go ahead, put me away." Sting could finally give that moment to Darby Allin. Give Darby Allin that torch passing ceremony. Yes, Darby Allin's huge. Darby Allin's way over, but if he were to get that moment, I think it would elevate him to the next level. And he could carry on the torch, the passing of the torch. But no, we're going to get a tag team match of Sting and Darby Allin against the Young Bucks. I'm sure it's going to be some street fight, some DQs, so they can go outside of the ring, jump off stupid stuff. It's going to be a flippy floppy show because that's what the Young Bucks are going to do. Everybody's going to get their moment and spot. And yes, Sting will probably win. But the stupid part about that is that the Young Bucks are coming back as a new heel faction, and their first pay-per-view event is going to be against Sting, and that's where they're going to lose. That really helps build their new found. I mean, if they hadn't left and hadn't started this, and then this was the catalyst for them to leave, maybe it would be a little easier to take down. But I'm like, you're bringing them back in to be this. I don't like it. I don't get why I need Sting and Darby out against the Young Bucks. Should we not get anybody, maybe some historical value in there? Could you have not given Ricky Steamboat and have him team up with some younger guy to go against Sting? Could we not have found anybody that would have been more viable? Could we done? I would have gone Dustin and Sting. Could you not have signed Goldberg and Sting since Matt Riddle is saying that him and Goldberg are going to wrestle at AEW because that's what's going to happen. Goldberg wants a retirement match. Why can't he retire Sting, then have a year run on AEW for his retirement? Is there not anybody out there, Tony, that you can get? I got to get the Young Bucks versus Darby Allin and Sting. It's in Greensboro, North Carolina. There's just so much wrestling historia and history there. And the Young Bucks and Sting, I mean, I guess if you give me a story to believe that there's going to be something there, but I mean, I think there's a bazillion better matches that you could have gave Sting as a retirement match, let alone, I thought the ultimate match would have been him against Darby. I mean, he could have looked at Darby and goes, I want to face Darby. I want to see what I can go against my partner in the one last dance. Give Darby Allin that, because then when we go in history, when we talk about the day that Darby beat Sting in his last match, the moment that would be there, the history that would be created, the stories that we could tell our kids, our grandkids, and our great-grandkids about the night Darby Allin beat Sting and carried on the aura. But no, we're headed for a Young Bucks Sting, and I know you have the answer of why, but I can't get behind it, Mr. Clarke.
Clearly, I'm not as mad about it as you are.
Yeah.
Like I said off air to you, I think the reason why this match is happening is it's a safe bet. I think it's going to be a good match if this is indeed how we're going to get it and what we're getting. Could there have been better matches? Absolutely. I love the idea of Sting versus Darby as the last match, but that's not where they're going. So instead of concentrating on that, I'm going to look at what we're getting and see what the execution is. Yeah. I think it'll be a fun match. Like you, I think I'm a little worried that Sting may try to do a few things.
Well, with
something that maybe he shouldn't jump off of to help create that excitement for the match.
With the Young Bucks involved in the match, it's going to be some type of hardcore. It's going to be flippy floppy high spots. It's going to be a match, and we're just going to pray.
Like not everyone hates that.
No, I know that. I know people like that, but I am just like, and it's good.
And again, if it's not for you, that's understandable. Not every match is for everyone.
No, and it's good in places. It's good in places and in the right time. This is not the right time. This should be a good wrestling match for Sting. Yes, he probably needs to have somebody help him because he's not going to go. I get why it may be a tag match, but I still think he could have pulled off a great match with Darby Allin one-on-one. I feel like it should be a bigger celebration that when Sting win, if Sting was going to win, that he had this great accomplishment that can go down as a retirement match. If he was facing Darby and lost, then he's giving the rub. And even if it wasn't Darby, if he went one-on-one with somebody and gave a rub to somebody to elevate them, I don't know. Why can't we get Sting and Copeland? I don't know if they've ever been in a ring.
Not to my knowledge, but from my For my money, no, thank you. I'm actually, like I said, when you put him with Copeland, like, I'd rather see what we're getting than that. But, where was I going to go with that? It really just depends on execution. Because, for all we know, this could be, okay, you look at Sting's AEW run, period. He has done things and tried things that he hasn't done in his whole career. He's tried new things. Now, there are times that we're kind of afraid for his life. I understand. But he is trying to do something different. And for his last match, to have that opportunity to do something different, and if it's executed well, that is what's going to be talked about. It's like, you never know. This could be the greatest match of his life, for all we know. It depends on the execution.
With the Young Bucks involved, Tony Khan behind the booking, you can't sell me that. You can tell me it. You can give me the argument, and I will respect your argument to that. But I'm not buying. I'm sorry. That's a hard sell. That this is going to be the greatest match of Sting because he's fought Ric Flair in some of the greatest matches in wrestling history. Period. So you want something different? Fine. I'll give you something different. You want Sting to wrestle somebody that's outside the box, something different, somebody that can take it to a different level. Why wouldn't he do it? Why wouldn't you do this? Sting gets retired by Will Ospreay to launch Will Ospreay on his AEW career.
It depends on what the actual intent is. Is it, besides retiring Sting, what is the intent of this match? That, and unfortunately, only the Booker Man knows.
And you know who the Booker Man is. So that's where I get frustrated. It's not going to be booked in a way that I think is. Anywho, I understand. I know what you're arguing
all the time. So
yeah,
and we try to give him constructive criticism to say, "Hey, this is what you can do better."
Whether
he watches the show or not, that's another story.
Have the Bucks? It's pouring rain. Have the Bucks and Sting had any confrontation at any time in Sting's run in AEW?
I am not sure, to be honest.
I just feel like they don't. I mean, there's never been like a,
on the flip side of all this also is, let's say Sting and Darby go over. This could be the catalyst for the Young Bucks to get even more serious, to get even more aggressive. So it's like, yeah, it's a kind of a bad look that they're just coming back and they're dropping out to Sting and Darby.
I thought we just got that when Omega basically they lost to Omega and Jericho. I thought that's what we just got was there. Okay, our friends turn against us. We're alone. We're gonna go get serious. We're gonna go out here and we're gonna do this thing. So I mean, I don't know how you can, unless you're gonna rewind, replay.
I'm looking at let's look at how Cody Rhodes has been in WWE, where they felt like they constantly had to give him adversity. Yeah. Even though WrestleMania 39, he should have won the fucking belt. And I got to stop cussing. My apologies, audience. But you can apply that same logic to the Young Bucks if that's what they want to do, if that's the point. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, we still have a couple of months before we find out what the point is.
I have more faith in Triple H's booking than Tony Khan any day. I mean, the Young Bucks didn't say anything, so maybe hopefully we'll get something of an answer from the Young Bucks. And of course, again, nobody said this was actually going to happen. We just saw the Young Bucks showed up and stared down Sting and Darby. Darby was calling for it, and Sting was kind of flabbergasted. I don't know if Sting even knew they were coming from this. He was either really, really good at selling that moment,
yeah,
or he didn't know it because he did kind of look a bit confused. So I don't know how can you take the Bucks seriously if they're going to try to be called Super Dick Party. There's something about Super Dick Party and kill the business, and I don't know if that's them killing the business is going to be. I mean, if they come out and go, we're going to be kill the business or whatever that idea is, and to do that, we have to start with one of the biggest names of professional wrestling. They're going to kill off Sting. I guess you got to be real careful if they're going to start this new faction and kill off Sting. But if they lose the Sting in the process, can it really, yeah. And if they go over Sting, is that really what the fans are going to be excited about? I mean, I guess, yes. Again, it's all about the intent, the booking, and the way it plays out in the big picture, if it makes sense, and plays into why the Young Bucks should win. and it makes them look good. It doesn't hurt Sting going out in retirement. But if you're starting a new gimmick with to kill the business and you're going to take out Sting, the biggest guy, and then lose, then I don't know how you kind of reverb or bounce back a little bit. So it's going to be a real gray area. I guess it is going to be a wait and see what transpires or what the Young Bucks say. Of course, this may be a false flag too. We may just got the Young Bucks in Daly's place because it was a homecoming. Omega can't show up, so maybe you just needed the Young Bucks on TV, and this was a moment to do it, to make it taunt, to make their reappearance. Nothing was physically said, and Darby Allin was the only one going, come on. Sting just kind of looked like, he looked as confused as I did about the whole situation. He's like, huh? So maybe there's something else in play, and we're jumping the gun. That may be the saving grace. I don't know.
It's the implication of, so therefore that's why we're talking about it.
This guy wrote, Matt and Nick come out and Nick is all in all white and Matt's all in all black. I don't know if that meant anything. They come out to the top of the stage and stare down Darby and Sting. Well, Darby and Sting both wear black and white face paint, so I don't know if that's supposed to mean anything, if that's symbolic. I mean, you can analyze that and do whatever you want with it to fit whatever narrative I guess you want. Mm-hmm. But then this person says Darby wants the match and Flair is smiling, but Sting doesn't even look like he's too interested, which is true. Sting really just kind of looked like, why are they here? Like, did I miss something? Like, I don't know if Sting didn't get the last part of the notes. Because I didn't get the Sting vibe that he's like, okay, you want to be the fight, let's fight. You know, like, I didn't get the Sting, like, he didn't look excited. He didn't look like he was anything. He just looked lost and confuzzled. So I don't know if there's something else, and this was just Tony Khan swinging things. It's just very confusing. When you look at Sting like that, when you look at Sting, you go, his facial expressions didn't really give anything. So he's either really good at acting or maybe he didn't know some things. Don't know. Anything else you want to add to this show, Mr. Clarke?
So at the beginning of this show, I was trying to remember what I wanted to call this show overall. And basically it was just a night of showcasing busy work. It's just a continuation to slowly, very, very slowly get to Revolution.
Well, we know.
Really building hardcore.
Well, we know in a week or two, Tony will give us the main event. And then, the week before the show, the Dynamite before the show, we'll get all the other cards. He's been doing that in the last 3 shows, I think, now that, we get the main event, but it's not until the last week that with All In, we had one match. We had the, MJF Adam Cole match that we knew was going to happen. Everything else came up the night before. Full Gear. We knew the main event, and then everything else was filled in. And World's End, Joe versus MJF, and then the Dynamite before, everything else got filled in. So, the only thing we know here is Sting's going to have his retirement match. Who's against? We're not 100% sure, but it looks like it's going to be Sting and Darby Allin versus the Young Bucks.
Well, Joe will defend against somebody.
So, and then Joe will...
Three-way or one-on-one.
Yeah, I think we may be seeing a Joe versus Swerve versus Hangman Adam Page. And I guess that might be the opening match of the card. It can't be the main event. Sting's retirement match is going to be the main event. Sting's retirement match should be at least the thing that ends the night, I would think. So you can get the chance at the end of the show.
They want the result to be. Because if Sting is going over, you definitely want that as the main event to get that pop.
But even if Sting loses as they cut the feed and the heels leave the ring or the Young Bucks leave, and Sting goes down in defeat and he stands up and gets his ovation in Greensboro.
Okay, that's fair, I guess.
I mean, either way, Sting's going to get his flowers, and I think that's why it should be the main event, because, you want that moment. Even after the heels, you're going to have the heels leave and go on their merry way if they win, and then you have Darby Allin help up Sting and then have his celebration, his moment. Tony Inoki, or whatever we call him nowadays, will probably come out in his scarf and do the, Sting. Oh, shit. Next thing we know is he'll come out with his Antonio Inoki scarf, and he'll have his face painted like Sting. That's what he's going to do now. To celebrate with Sting, yes. Yes. Thank God we never got Surfer Sting. I know they were trying to get Surfer Sting for one match. I'm just like, Surfer Sting's long gone. We're never going to see that Surfer Sting. Seeing Sting chop his hair up and paint it blonde. As nostalgia as it would be in a moment, it wouldn't be worth it. It just
Yeah, you want to see that? You have to go to Peacock, or you have to go to I forget. It was a segment in TNA where Mr. Anderson, when he was
Mr.
feuding with
Anderson.
Sting,
Yes.
dressed like Surfer Sting.
Yes. That was great too. And speaking of Mr. Anderson talks about him as making a return as Mr. Kennedy. He's open to coming back to WWE, especially if he can make an appearance in the Royal Rumble. I don't know if I'd be too mad about the nowadays Kennedy coming back.
I mean, a Royal Rumble appearance would be cool, but I don't know if they can really. What do you really do with him long term?
Well, he can get in a feud with Randy Orton right away, since that's kind of the whole catalyst of what possibly got Mr. Kennedy fired. I have to go back and look, but it was Orton wasn't happy about a kerfuffle with Kennedy. That's why Kennedy wound up losing the Money in the Bank briefcase match. He did something that pissed off Orton. Anyways, this has been your AEW Dynamite review right here on the Value Wrestling YouTube channel. We thank you for being here. We appreciate you taking time out of your night and joining us. Make sure you hit the like button. I see we have 3 thumbs up. Go ahead and hit that like button if you're coming here and watching this after the fact. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for taking time out of your busy day, night, evening, or whatever it may be to watch this and listen to what we had to say about tonight's AEW on January 10th. We will be back Friday night with a SmackDown review, probably in a little bit better mood, at least on my end. And we will break down everything going on SmackDown. And depending on how Saturday goes, one of us, 2 of us, 3 of us, no, it'll be 2 of us, because one of us is going to be over in the Valley, the Battle of the Valley in San Jose, California, watching that live. So they probably won't be able to get back in time to watch TNA Hard to Kill and then get into a review show. So depending on how we feel, we may give you a TNA Hard to Kill review show. I won't promise, but if you ring that bell for notification, you will be notified if we do. And of course, if you're following us on Twitter or in our Facebook group, which is in the description below, hit that Linktree link and you can find all that there. We also put up our notifications there. Also, if you're new here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. We are marching to 1,000. That is our goal. Well, 1,000 beyond. I mean, we want to get to 1,000 definitely, but we want to go way beyond that. But we need your help and support. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Join the Value Wrestling family. Become part of the Value Wrestling family. Become part of the fastest growing wrestling podcast who is here to play and not play games. No, we're here to play because we're here to stay. Any final words, Mr. Clarke?
Hey, folks, just enjoy your night. I still say it was a great night of in-ring action. We got more on the way this week. Let's get it.
Yes. And Hard to Kill is going to be really good because I forgot that we have Will Ospreay on Hard to Kill.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be a great show. A lot of great matches. We'll see how TNA rebirthing on the night that TNA rebirthed itself. The second coming of TNA. It's a coming. And then guess what, ladies and gentlemen? 2 weeks from Saturday. 2 weeks from Saturday will be one of the biggest nights in professional wrestling history. One of the greatest nights in wrestling. When the Royal Rumble will go down. And we all get to sit here and count down. 1 or 10, 9, 8. Who's going to win? Who's going to come out strong? It's going to be a night of surprises. Rumored that Sean Waltman may be a special guest in the Royal Rumble. Sean Waltman, X-Pac, 1, 2, 3 Kid, Lightning Kid, X-Pac, 6-Pac, 6. About 1,000 different names for the man.
Right.
But
the man with the educated feet.
Yes. So it'll be nice to at least see him for a moment. And a lot of other surprise. We don't know where Andrade is. Hey, I forgot. Mr. Sean Ross Sapp, Mr. Dave Meltzer, Mr. Brian Alvarez, Mr. So-and-so, and everybody else who was like, oh, Mercedes Moné will be on Dynamite this week. Did you see Mercedes Moné tonight?
Nope.
Okay. I was just making sure I didn't miss something. Because everybody's been saying she was going to be here last week. No, now she's going to be here this week.
All I've heard is that she's expected, but I haven't heard, at least from Front Sap, that she was going to for sure be on Dynamite.
Well, I think last week they all were heavily pointing it out, like, oh no, she should be on Dynamite. Now this week they're a little more like, oh, she's showing up. There was a slight hinge. There were some that were saying she was going to show up tonight, but she didn't show up. So, I mean, if AEW is getting her, Tony Khan's got to be smart about when he introduces her, and the next right moment's probably going to be Revolution in March. Well, maybe Battle in the Belts. She may show up on Collision. So we'll have to see. That may be the next biggest night's Battle of the Belts. Otherwise, I don't even think you want to do it on Battle of the Belts. Not on your Collision show where your ratings are already bleh. And I don't think there's any big matches on Battle of the Belts that people are really going to jump at. I know Deanna and Red Velvet's a whole different story for some people, but in saying the overall card, I don't know how many people are really going to tune in for this Battle of the Belts. So I don't know if you debut her there. I think the next place for her, if she's in AEW, if she's going to AEW, is going to be Revolution. So I think you're going to be waiting a little while longer to see her really show up, because that's the only way it's really going to work. The thing is,
the fun is the anticipation of where is she going?
Yes.
And when is she coming?
No, I think she's doing the right thing. There's one of two places she's going to show up, and we're going to hear about it. If she doesn't show up at the Rumble, everybody's going to predict her to show up at Revolution. And maybe she doesn't show up at Revolution or the Rumble. Maybe she shows up the night after WrestleMania. Who knows?
Yeah, it's a possibility.
So we will have to wait and see how that plays out. But ladies and gentlemen, this is VOW Wrestling. This is your AEW Dynamite review for January 10th, 2024. 10 days into the new year. 21 more to go for the month. Wow, another month about to fly by. We're going to be knee deep, like way deep into 2024 real soon here. And it's going to be interesting, I'll tell you what. But the VOW Wrestling will still be here representing like we do each and every week, like we do each and every day, bringing you the best content, the best quality content, bringing you the best of us with everything we do. Remember, Tuesdays, not Tuesday nights, but Tuesdays now, you can find the New Japan Pro Wrestling Rebound by Miguel Z right here on the VOW Wrestling YouTube channel. And we are going to have that. Make sure you catch us on Sundays at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for the weekly roundup. And I will get those right. Rebound, roundup, da-da-da-da-da. Anyways, we thank you for joining us. We're going to get out of here. I'm going to shush my mouth, move it along. We're going to say night-night. We're going to say goodbye. We're going to say so long, goodbye. Don't see our faces
I feel like
no
I'm
more.
losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign.
I wanna be the greatest. Everybody on the fake shit. I look around and feel like everybody is the fakest. I make this every day and I'm impatient, hoping one day I blow up from the basement. Statement, the top is so vacant. I don't hear shit that I think is amazing. Waiting for my day when I'm playing sold out shows for 1,000 faces. Hey, give me that crown, get in my way and to be put down. It ain't your place, all this my town. If I want that shit, then I'll get it right now. I'm losing it, the noose it fits, I'm losing